everybody? We are back. I am back with another video, another spectacular video. I promise. And we are back here with Casey. He's telling me important things. I'm going to try to remember them. I'm going to try to implement them. And we're going to see how that works out. But as you can see here, we are faced with opposition, at the threat of being shafted into T1. So we're going to go get the warm-up started. We're going to warm up the tires. We're going to make sure we are prepared to not get shafted. We do not want that to happen, so we're going to try our best. So as we get settled in right here, we're going to be tucking in. It is heat number 1, qualifying first, starting on pole, green flag, off we go. And I get a good start, but as you can see here, a little bit on the right of your screen, P2 is kind of creeping up on me, but thankfully we get a nice little bump, a little nod of the head there saying thank you, and clear I go through turn 1, 2, and 3. Check back real quick, make sure we're good, and we're going to make sure that we keep these clean, keep this lap clean, getting a little bit of curb there, missing that apex a little bit, but it's okay. We're going to tuck in here, a little slight jump right there, open up all the way wide, avoid the curb, and just check back and make sure that we're in the clear. So we're going to go all the way towards the outside, get that late apex right there, kiss that curb, make sure we track it all the way out as far wide as possible, and yeah, get a good clean lap number 1. This is exactly what I want to do for the next 8 laps. We're going to make sure we try to get that done, and yeah, so a good start, got to work a little bit on that, on just getting a good jump on everybody else, making sure I stay in the clear and I don't expose myself, but thankfully it's been working out well for us. So yeah, fast forward to lap 4. It's kind of just pumping out the laps. Nothing much happened between there. Kind of coming into this section here, to this tricky turn where you're kind of lifting up. It kind of wants to bait you sometimes, but I kind of go a little bit too hot, get a slide. I let off on the brakes, but not on the brakes, but let off on the throttle. I thought I was in the clear, but in comes position number 2, who is now number 1. Thomas is now taking the lead. I gotta go kind of try to fight it back, but we got about halfway through the race to go, so I'm not trying to get too impatient here, but try to get it back probably as fast as possible. Messing up a little bit on the exit. You can see here he's kind of starting to pull away from me, so we're going to see if we can kind of claw back a little bit on the slipstream, make sure we don't want to lose that. And yeah, as you can see here, kind of closing in on him on that apex right there, carrying a bit more speed, checking again one more time, making sure third place is, he's kind of coming up a little bit close on me. He's a bit of a threat, so I want to make sure I can make this pass, but I also want to expose myself to losing another position. So going really well through there, and I'm just right up on the back of him. He sees me, so he's going to go defensive. I'm going to go last minute, open up to the wide, and then just try to get that apex, get that cutback on him, but it's just not going to work out. Check back real quick. You see third place is right on top of me, so gotta also be careful when I'm opening up wide that he's not going to send it up on the inside of me. So just trying to make that move as last minute as possible. Want to catch probably both of them as off guard and just try to cover myself. So once again, tucking in under the slipstream, keening on him towards the end, and just absolutely making a total mess of it. Yeah, honestly, a huge screw up on my end. I thought I had that, carrying enough speed, but it doesn't feel good to not only make a mistake that puts me out of the lead, but put someone else out of the lead for something that at the end of the day is avoidable contact. And for those of you that don't know, this was actually the first time that Thomas, the 42, was actually leading a race. So coming into the final lap, we're going to try and see if we can kind of get this position back and make it cleanly, very importantly. But let's see here. We gain some time through that first turn. You can see I'm carrying a lot more speed through there. Right here, we're kind of equal. I get a little bit sideways through there. We're going to see if we can catch him through here. We get right up on the inside, not on the inside, but right behind him. We're going to tuck into the slipstream. He's going to go towards the inside. I'm going to try and get that cutback one more time. We're going to see if it works, but I'm just too far back, honestly. So I'm going to tuck in. He went defensive, so it kind of gives me the opportunity to stay close with him. And we're just going to see if we can kind of make a move here. But I don't know. He goes a little slow through there. Maybe I went a little hot, but thankfully I did not spin him out. And yeah, so kind of check back real quick, make sure no one's behind me, but kind of take home the 4th, so not good. I go ahead and make sure I apologize, but you know, at the end of the day, starting in first, finishing in fourth.
Dude, I'm sorry. I mean,
It all comes down to just those unavoidable mistakes that you want to just make sure you minimize and just keep them at a zero, to be honest. But so coming into the main race, Casey's here. He's telling me no stupid mistakes and just kind of giving me actual pretty good advice on how to get rolling, how to get started. Honestly, he's always a huge help, and it's great working with him. But as you can see here, we're doing some mathematics. You know, number 4 right there, holding it up. We're trying to figure out what is going on. Am I getting cut? But we win that position back right here in that warm-up lap in absolute spectacular fashion. We hold it down. We hold the fort. And yeah, tuck it in, get settled, see if we can make a good start here. Don't want to lose any positions. See if we can make some positions. So we come in here, get tucked in, make ourselves as small as possible, reduce the most amount of air resistance as possible. But 5th is creeping up on me. I'm going to try to hold it up around the outside, and successfully I keep my position, but no positions gained. But we're going to tuck in, get 16 laps. We got enough time. We just got to make sure we stay patient, don't make any mistakes. And as you can see, 11 getting wide, but I'm not going to send it up the inside there. It's pretty risky move right there, but he gets all the way up on the curve, and we've seen it before in the past in the previous videos. You get up on that curve and it's going to send you towards the outside, especially with the speed that we're carrying. So I hold on the inside, get super early apex, but really I just want to beat him to that curve. And yeah, so we tuck in, check back real quick, make sure he's not on top of me, and now we got a little bit less work to do. So coming in, we're going to tuck in, try to get a good apex, see if maybe we can catch a little bit of the slipstream. So I did make a setup change, and I did go a gear up, so I'm getting more exit speed. I mean, not more exit speed, but acceleration out of the turns, but I'm not getting that same top speed. So we're going to see how that plays out for us. And yeah, so fast forward into lap 2. Once again, trying to get that cutback. He takes a really early apex, and I'm trying to see if I can punch out of it a little bit. I'm getting a lot of really good rotation through here, and this kind of comes down to, again, to what I've talked about in the past, is just that difference in the diameter of the tires. This time, it kind of worked against me for most of the track, but it really only helped me through that turn. So the whole time, my car just wants to pull to the right, and you can probably see my steering wheel as we go in a straight line. I'm constantly trying to steer left. You can see right here, actually. So once again, we're going to tuck in. We're going to see if we can get him into sandbox, but he's going in defensively. He's really making sure that I'm going to get past him. So go in, late on the brakes, try to get that cutback, a little bit on the curb there. Still able to get the power down, but it's just not enough there. It's very tricky to pass. From what you can see, it's really, you got to make that move going into the hairpin, but he's completely closing the door there. Honestly, good work from him on that end. So I kind of get a little shaky on that exit. I was trying to, I think I was getting a little bit close to him. I was trying to avoid that, but honestly, I think it would have been fine. But right here, you can see I'm just not catching him at the end of the straight like I was before on the heat, and that just comes down to that gear ratio, right? So maybe what I should have done is maybe just drop the pressures, play with the setup in a different way, but you don't want to lose that top speed on your competitors because it's going to cost you there when you want to make up those positions. But right here, just coming in way too hot and getting up on that axle, losing a position. But at this point, really, I'm just worried about the axle and just continuing on. So honestly, it seems like it's okay. So I kind of just carry on, but you know, it's just, once again, just those little mistakes on that turn that can just cost you and turn your race around. So we got some good work done in the lap 1, but now lap number 7, we're making some moves. And as you can see here, actually, it's a pretty difficult turn. You can see how high up in the air it is. So you want to be super accurate when you're going through that turn. It's really fun, but you want to make sure you're not missing that apex and being sent out wide, because that wall is going to punish you. So I have created more work for myself, and usually people don't like doing more work, and neither do I. So it's not ideal, but you know, we're gonna see what we can do. We're just gonna see if we can recover this race from the mistakes I made from the previous heat and the mistakes I made here. The kart is okay, but as you can see here, it's that top speed, it's that mistake that I made on the setup. If I had that gearing, I could have passed him. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to find a different opportunity to pass him. We're gonna see if we can maybe send it up the inside here, but it's just not gonna work. But you know, at the end of the day, just putting my nose in there, showing him I'm there, putting some pressure on him, making him make the mistake, right? So kind of come in, we're a little bit far behind. I think it's not gonna work for a pass, but he goes super early on the brakes. I dive down on the inside. I'm able to win that position back. So it took me a lap to get back to where I was. Thankfully, the leader is actually not too far from where we are at the moment, but this is kind of where I need to be a little bit patient with my moves. I don't want to get too hasty. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake for the both of us and let that leader carry on. But at the same time, I want to get past him quick and not lose too much time fighting for that second position. So let's see as we go. As we come in about halfway through the race, and we're gonna see if we can just try to make a move somewhere. I already know where I'm quicker. I already know where I can potentially make a gain on him, but at the end of the day, it's just executing, waiting for that mistake. But he's always going super defensive here. It's super tough, and at this point, you can see me kind of just get a little bit frustrated, throwing the hand up in the air. I mean, at the end of the day, what can I do, right? I just want to get past him. I don't want the leader to just start taking off, but yeah. So we get tucked in, going into Big Monza right here, tracking out all the way wide, and fast forward into lap number 10. We're completely on him, but, you know, just giving him a little bit of bump draft right there towards the end. I think a little bit, but there's no opportunity there to get up on the inside of him going into Big Monza. So we're going to see if we can maybe get some of that slipstream, but really it's just so tough. One with the tires and fighting the cart, getting that good exit, but just running out of top speed, and that's really what's just killing me. So we're kind of coming in here, see if we can maybe come up the inside. We're getting there. We're almost ahead of him, but that turns into the inside for him, so he gets that advantage at the end of the day. And right here, I get a bump from the back. I bump him, and he's mid-corner, so he gets spun out. So honestly, at this point, I'm kind of worried about a penalty, but knowing it's not my fault, I felt that bump from the back, and I mean, unfortunately for him, he got spun out. But a good thing for me is now I am back in position number 2. We got a bunch of laps to go, and we can see if we can make some place back. But you can see I fast forwarded about 2 laps, and there's still a lot of distance to make up. Lap number 14 starts, and we're still got a lot of room to make up for right here. But as we come in here, got a little bit closer to him, not too much. If we want to get back on him, we got to make a lot more lap time up on him than I did in this previous lap. But coming into here, we get our second fastest lap, but this is without the draft or without any bumping. So this is actually, I would say, my best lap. So we come in here, halfway through the brakes, get a kiss on that apex there. We want to take as much curb here, miss that one. It's super aggressive. Want to keep the drive down on the tarmac, and we want to go kiss of the curb here, all the way up on this one, kiss that one, and we want to go as late on the brake as possible, but make sure we set ourselves up for that late apex, track all the way out wide, and miss the wall, as we see. You know, very important to miss the wall. Late on the brakes, get late on the apex, track all the way out. We don't want to dip a wheel on the curb there, and we continue on, kind of get tucked in right here. And yeah, there's a big curb you want to miss here. Take all that curb right there, get set up. There's a ton of grip midway through the track here. Nice apex through there and get tucked in. And it's the final lap. We've made a little bit of a gain, but it's just not going to be enough. But, you know, you never want to give up, right? You never know if there's going to be a small mistake, kind of like the ones that I've made. But yeah, unfortunately, well, I mean, we made some gains, but unfortunately we wanted to win, but with some of the mistakes kind of made that a little bit impossible. But, you know, we got to learn from that. We got to see, things that I can learn from the setup, things I can learn from just the mistakes out there, and, you know, never losing sight. I mean, you know, you can get so focused on just trying to make that overtake. Yeah, and you can see Casey here talking about the same thing, the gearing. You know, he sees it out there as a bystander. You know, he sees it. Didn't have that top speed to get past them, but, you know, like he says, good recovery. And here I'm talking about just that what happened down there in that turn going into Little Monza.
This time I did notice, I was like, he's looking later, but the 11 came in the back of me.
We'll see what happens. Was still able to get some good points, especially with the second place out there in the main race where you get most of the points. The guy who actually won the race, that was his first race in this series, so it's not a threat in terms of points. But yeah, honestly, another good weekend of racing, and thankfully no punches in the face thrown at me for spinning people out. You know, you never want that either. So get weighed in, make sure we are not too skinny, you know, because that can be a problem too. And yeah, all good. And here are the standings. So still a pretty good lead in the race, but yeah, at the end of the day, a lot to learn from a day like this, but still happy with the results.